Good morning, guys. Welcome to the channel. Out here pretty early this morning before I get to work. Working on the 454 SS. What I got going on is a little bit of an ignition misfire here and there. Sometimes it does it worse than other times. Really feel it under like a light load. I've been fighting a misfire on this thing since I've done the head gaskets. And it's got a brand new distributor, brand new plug wires and plugs, but it doesn't mean that one of those components might not be bad from the O'Reilly's or wherever I got them. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to verify that the ignition timing is good. I'm going to kind of show you how to do it on these old TBIs. To be honest, I don't have a whole lot of experience with the TBI engines, the small block or big block. They're kind of before my time. Most of my experience is with the Vortec motors, and then the 4.8, 5.3, 6-liter engines from there on. But checking timing is really easy on these things. I'll show you how to do it here. I'm also going to pull all the plugs and see what all the plugs look like, because that could tell us a lot if we find a plug that's fouled up or has raw fuel on it. Because I just started it up and backed it up and I can feel a little bit of a misfire. So one of them might have some raw fuel on it, you can smell them. If that's the case, then definitely going to put a plug in that hole, and probably just a new spark plug wire as well right away, just for good measure. But yeah, let's pull these plugs, see what they look like first, and then we'll go from there. I don't have any of my tools from work with me, so use my old Craftsman ratchet or whatever the hell it is, no name brand. But it gets the job done. And this is the number 2 plug. We'll see what it looks like. Doesn't look terrible. I don't smell raw fuel. No carbon tracking. We'll pull the rest of them and see what the rest look like. Well, guys, the plugs actually all look pretty good. Haven't found any raw fuel on any of them. They all look like they're firing all right. I don't have any of them that are just black and sooty, like they're fouled out or anything. No carbon tracking, which you'd get like a little lightning bolt looking line or something between your tip and down in the base of the spark plug. I don't have any of that. This one's a little dirty, but no carbon tracking. So I don't know, I'm gonna throw them back in. We'll check timing and see if that's off at all and see if it helps. So yeah, I was actually kind of hoping to find something, because then I could go from there, but not finding anything on the spark plugs leads me to believe that it's probably either the timing, ignition timing's off, or possibly low fuel pressure. I'll probably have to check the fuel pressure, or I'll have to pull the plugs back out eventually and check compression and all of them. But I'm gonna throw them back in and we'll check timing and we'll see how it does from there. Alright guys, first things first, you're gonna want to disconnect your ignition wire here. It's typically, from what I've understood, it's a tan wire with a black tracer usually. Mine is located on the firewall here. Usually there is a plastic cover over top of all this. I do not have that plastic cover anymore. It was gone when I bought the truck. But you're going to disconnect this. I think some of them, depending on what year, it could be over by the brake booster, or some of them, I think the newer ones, like 94, 95, got a school bus driving by now, are underneath the passenger side dash, I believe. But for me, it's on the firewall here. You disconnect that, and that's going to take away your ECM automatic advance that your computer is controlling. So you're gonna be setting your base timing. You're gonna set it to, this big block will be set to 4 degrees before top dead center. I think the small blocks are just 0. Then once you plug this back in, you tie your computer back into the system and it takes it from there. So down on the crankshaft pulley down there, you can see my timing tab. That plate that's hovering over top of the crankshaft pulley there. Those are your timing marks. The first large indentation, I believe, is going to be your 0. And then this one's going to be set to 4. And I can no longer read the numbers on the tab, so I'm going to have to guess here. Again, not a whole lot of experiences with these. So let's see. If it ends up being off, then I'm just going to get it to close. Probably go to like the first point there and run it and see if it's any better. If that's around where it is, I'm going to leave it, and from there I'm going to assume that I've got a low fuel pressure issue, or perhaps something else going on, because it honestly feels like an ignition miss, but I've been fooled before, so that's just a part of troubleshooting. So I'm going to start it up and put my timing light on. I have, mine's a Blue Point, but you can use any old timing light. I mean, you're just not doing anything fancy here. So there was a time in my life where I felt I needed the best tool you could buy from Snap-on and give them half my paycheck each week, but I'm no longer I can no longer afford to do that. So this is a remnants of that time. But honestly, I bought this thing I never really have to use. You don't have to time vehicles anymore, so this is a good excuse to get it out and use it. But I'm gonna start it up and let's see where we're at. So I'm currently running a electric fan, so I no longer have the shroud on here, but this is gonna be your timing spec right here. On the shroud, 4 degrees before top dead center. And it tells you about the connector on there. You got disconnect. So if you're wondering about that, that's where you can find that. So let's go get her warmed up. Alright guys, so we were actually pretty advanced there. I say it was sitting at like 20 degrees before top dead center. So I retarded the ignition timing and got it to the first pointer on there, which I think should get me pretty close. If it sounded like it was chugging a little bit there, that's because the computer again was out of the system. I'll plug that connector back in, start it back up, and the computer is going to take over advancing the timing right away. So once I plug that in, the computer is going to end up advancing it at least probably 12 degrees, I'd say, idling here. So with it being even more advanced with the computer plugged in, you know, we were probably running down the road 30 degrees before top dead center, maybe somewhere around there, I'm not sure. It was too advanced, so I'm gonna plug the connector back in, start it up, and let's see how it's running then. All right, connector plugged in. I'm gonna disconnect my timing light here because I don't want it falling into the belt. And let's see what we got. Still feels like it's idling a little rough, maybe. I can't tell. Not gonna know until I take it down the road here. So I gotta get ready to go to work anyways. We'll hop in her, take her for a spin, and see if she does any better. If not, then we'll have to go a different route and see what's going on with this thing.
Alright guys, so I'm on the interstate right now. Seems to be running a little bit better actually. Still feeling some bucking and jerking on acceleration. Once I get up to the speed I want, then it smooths out. So it's not like a dead miss, it's only under a load. So I'm starting to believe that it is a low fuel pressure issue possibly. I might just put a fuel pump in it just because, here we go, just because I'm not sure if it's ever been changed. I mean, I don't know a whole lot about this truck. I just know it sat for 2 years and then I bought it from the guy and had to rebuild the transmission, do a bunch of other work. So, I'm like still playing catch up on everything with this thing. So I may just put a fuel pump in it anyways for good measure because I plan on driving it a lot. I can put the fuel pressure tester on it and hook it up to where I drive it and can monitor the fuel pressure while I'm driving and check it that way. And I also may check compression each cylinder, which they should be good because I redid the valves. But I never did put a compression tester back on each cylinder just to verify. But it was running pretty good for a while, and now I'm getting this kind of bucking and jerking. So I have had where the fuel pump, the little fuel hose on the top of the tip of the fuel pump was split to where it was sucking, or I guess it would have been pushing fuel back out of it. As it was pumping fuel out, it was pumping back out. I had that in a 89 Blazer of my own. So that's something I could probably check. Maybe it's not as severe, but it could have something going on with that. It's a 1990, so everything could be pretty old at this point and decrepit and deteriorating. And so that's probably where I'm going to go from there. I think I pretty much eliminated an actual ignition miss, even though it still feels like an ignition miss to me. So yeah, the next video I'm probably going to check fuel pressure, possibly just put a fuel pump in it. To be honest, maybe I just need to drop the tank. The thing sat for a long time. The tank may need to be replaced or cleaned out. Could have rust and other crap in there that could be clogging up the fuel pump as well. I did put a new fuel filter in it before, so if anyone thinks maybe a fuel filter is an issue, I already replaced that whenever I did the heads and everything. Or no, it was when I first bought it. I did a full tune-up on it. So that's where I'm going to go. I'm still going to keep driving it. It's still fun to drive, even though I hate when things are not running smoothly. It just bugs the shit out of me, so I'm going to finish my coffee, get to work, and go work on the old turbo diesel. So I'll check you guys in the next video.